Hello, faithful, and welcome to another edition of White Throne Metal Radio's Top 10. I am your host, Keven Crothers, station manager for White Throne Metal Radio, staff writer for Heaven's Metal magazine. You can find links to both of those items in the description below if you'd like to check out White Throne Metal Radio. We're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All things hard rock and heavy metal from a Christian point of view. Heaven's Metal magazine, reviews, news, things you want to check out. There's a link below. We're strictly an online zine at this point, just because, unfortunately, print these days just doesn't, you can't do enough to pay the bills. So anyway, this particular episode of Top 10 isn't so much a Top 10. I am going to talk about 10 albums that came out in the 2010s. And these are ones you might have missed, maybe not, but I think all of these do deserve your attention. If you don't already have them, you might want to check them out as well. I'll put links to some songs and everything in the description below as well. I've had people ask, can you intercut song clips? I can. It'll make the video longer, and I'm trying to make them a little shorter. But let's talk about these albums. First one is from 2015. It was a fantastic album on its release, featuring the vocal prowess of Ray Parra, the guitar histrionics of Mr. George Ochoa, and of course I'm talking about Worldview, The Chosen Few. I know right now they are and have been working on a follow-up. New vocalist in the band, which is Mr. Mike Lee of Barren Cross. But talking about this record, melodic, kind of proggy, but heavy. You've got some great melodic songs on here. I mean, Mortality, great opener, The Last Cry, Illusions of Love, The Mirror. Prisoner of Pain is probably the best or heaviest song on the album. This doesn't sound like Recon. It doesn't sound like Sacred Warrior. It's got a more polished, but it's still a progressive type metal release. It's really good, very catchy, very infectious. So Worldview, The Chosen Few. Now this next one, the CD was actually released this year, but the band themselves was a digital only release that came out 2019 or late 2018. And I'm talking about the band, and it's more of like a project. It really features Mr. Jonathan Johnson and Tiago James D'Souza on guitar. Jonathan Johnson did played for Sacred Warrior on their Generations album. He handles all the vocals on this, as well as guitar, bass, drums. Tiago adds guitar work as well. And of course, I'm talking about Godman, Hypostatic Union. This is a much more modern type metal record, like Machine Head. I'm trying to think of some of the other bands that I would compare them with. It is not your traditional verse, chorus, solo, chorus, but Machine Head, maybe Gojira, definitely a different, Monster Magnet, a different feel and vibe altogether. A pretty heavy album. You can grab the CD, put out on Bombworks Records, which is through Retroactive. The CDs are available. They sound fantastic. This, again, it's Godman, Hypostatic Union. And it's one of those things where it might have just slid right under the radar. You might not have seen it at all. Another band that released originally digitally, and this one also features the vocals of Mr. Ray Parra, as well as the guitar work of Jonathan Johnson, And it is truly a band. And I'm talking about Deny the Fallen. Deny the Fallen. Symptoms of Eternity. This came out originally, I believe it was late 2018. It was released digitally. And it was out there. And there was talk about it, a CD release that never quite materialized. Matt Hunt at Retroactive Bombworks put that together, and now we have a CD of it. Again, a more modern metal type sound. Definitely not quite as heavy as Godman, but in that same ballpark as far as structure. If you want to know what this sounds like, again, that same modern type sound, I'll put links to a song below. There's some music videos that were produced, lyric videos and such. If you haven't heard this, do yourself a favor and check it out. This is not, neither of these have been a 1980s album at all. This is 2019, 2020. This sounds like what's going on right now. So a lot of folks are like, I don't want to hear all this hair metal and all this stuff. I want, check both of these albums out. I urge you, check them out. This one goes back, gosh, now of course I should have had goes back to 2015, and more of a hard rock album featuring Mr. Rex Scott and Glenn Thomas, members of X Center, but this is GX. The album itself is called Raise Some Hell, R-A-Z. And it's got that X Center, straightforward hard rock sound. Everybody, a lot of folks will compare Rex at times to maybe Bon Scott or something like that. Definitely in that ballpark. Lyrics are more, a little more Christian worldview. They're not evangelistic per se, but I mean, great songs. Hardworking Woman, Gonna Burn, Just Got Screwed. Can't Stop Rock and Roll. A great rock and roll record, okay? It's clean as far as the lyrics. Some people, you get kind of bummed because of X, Y, or Z. I wish they hadn't done this. Okay, fine. It's a great rock album. Came out 5 years ago, and it's definitely worth it. If you liked X Center, if you liked Airborne, if you liked, of course, AC/DC, or 77, or Rhino Bucket, you might be interested in that. Came out 5 years ago. Worth taking a look at. This one here came out, 2 years ago, and it's probably the most lightweight album on this list, but it's a solid, it's more of an EP. Great stuff on here. I really enjoyed it, frankly. And I'm talking about Luke Easter's The Pop Disaster. Again, very melodic. I think the heaviest song on here is Damaged As You Are, but Life Goes On, a great song. Misspent, Sleep, Sideways. Just a really fun, it's a lightweight pop rock. You could say 80s maybe. I know Luke really, even though he was the lead singer for Tourniquet, we all know him for that. He has an affinity and love really for, can I even say, Bon Jovi and stuff along that side of things. So it's really a different take for him. I found the album itself to be quite good. I believe we did get I got a review on Heaven's Metal from a few years ago as well. You can check that out. Pop Disaster. Now I'm actually going to show this is kind of a double thing, because I first heard this band's EP, and then I heard there was an album they put out before it, and then I'd heard that they don't exist anymore, and I'm like, they broke up. Now I hope that's not the case, but there hasn't been any new material. This has more, the EP, which is, I'm talking about 4-Star Revival. Okay, this is called The Underdog. Is that a 5-song EP? Has a little more modern vibe to it. Great songs though. The Underdog, Liar, Rumors of War, Broken, The Garden of Good and Evil. I dig it. Solid heavy metal. Again, a little more modern on not the production, but the way the songs were arranged. And then after that, and this came out in 2016. And then about a year or two before that, let me just double check it, was the actual first, independent release. And this one here, 4-star revival, Knights of Revival. This, Sean Browning, president, owner of Rottweiler Records, thought this reminded him of Dio. And I don't know if I would say that, but it's a great heavy metal album. A little more traditional sounding. There are great songs on here. Red, Faith, Hold On, Save Me, Broken Man, Let Love, Somewhere. This thing, if you're looking for traditional heavy metal that isn't like hair metal melodic, but just, Dio, Judas Priest kind of stuff, this is it. If you love Saint, this is probably a little heavier than some of the Saint stuff, but in that same ballpark. It's traditional heavy metal. The production's really good. This is the original Aztec Records issue. I picked this one up, I believe, through Amazon. Great stuff. 4-star revival. Let's go back to 2010. Maybe a little more melodic metal. And I'm talking about Audio Vision. The album is called Focus. Christian Lejagren, who is the lead singer for Narnia. When he had left Narnia, he did a lot of projects. This band that he put together, they released 2 records. This one came out in 2010. This is the first one, the only one I've heard. It's really nice in the sense that it's melodic, it's catchy, but it's still got that heavy edge. It's kind of melodic power metal. There is a cover of The Way on here, if I remember right. Yeah, they do a cover of Stryper's The Way. There were a couple of music videos they shot for this. You can find those on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description below. Keep the Fire Burning, Invitation, We're Not Alone, The Sun Will Come. Really good stuff. If you like, it's heavier than Stryper, probably a little heavier, or along the lines of Narnia perhaps, but a little more keyboard influenced, upbeat, not neoclassical like Golden Resurrection, but just it's a really good album. Audio Vision, Focus. Here's one that came out in 2018. They've released multiple records, and I want to talk about, this is really an EP, which I really dug, and that is Biogenesis. This is a 5-song EP. They re-released it on vinyl, added a couple of tracks to it, but this is the Black Widow EP. That song, Black Widow, is a great song. They do a cover of Deliverance's Flesh and Blood from the Weapons of Our Warfare record. Great stuff. Human Equilibrium, Angel, and Anti-Evolution. Angel's more of a ballad. They made a music video for that. There's a music video as well for Black Widow. Real catchy. And just a great EP. And I dig it. That song, Black Widow, what a hook. It's heavy. There's a mix of vocal styles on there. But it's a great song. Cool EP. You can get that from Rocks. This one came out in 2015. 2016? 2015. I think I'm going to go with 2015. And this is Armageddon USA, Up in Flames. Heavy metal. It's the same band, pretty much. Few little tweaks, drummer-wise and whatnot. But if you're looking for, again, traditional sounding heavy metal, great lyrics, really cool production, kind of gritty. Robert Bussey, swings on that guitar, along with Robbie Lee. Produced by Joe Hasselvander, played drums for Raven for years. Vocals, of course, Mike Vance. Great vocal performance. Up in Flames, Armageddon USA, traditional heavy metal, but it's got again modern sound. This isn't 1984 or something like that. Came out just like I say 4 or 5 years ago. Really great record. You want to grab this. Now this one, the last one I'm going to show, came out in 2010 as well. And if you weren't paying attention, you might have missed it. You know, a lot of us, I think, in times we got married, we got older, we weren't going to the bookstores and whatnot so much, kind of drifted away from Christian music in the sense that we knew all what was going on. And now so much stuff is online. There's not like this central port where you can go, what's the newest and the latest? Of course, you can check out Heaven's Metal Fanzine. You can go to Angelic Warlord, Andrew Rockwell writes tons of reviews. There's a lot of good online zines. Again, Heaven's Metal Fanzine. But, maybe you're just rediscovering this stuff in the last 3 to 5 years. Well, you might have missed this. This came out in 2010. The Rex Carroll Band, that was then, this is now. Bluesy, kind of ZZ Top-like. And great songs on here. Again, a Christian worldview, not evangelistic so much, but Rex does all the vocals. Again, stellar guitar playing. It sounds great when it was released. I remember Retroactive sold quite a few. Find a Way, Fool's Gold, Working Man's Blues, one of my favorites, along with Delta Memories and Witch Doctor Bones, Throw Them Bones, My Train, Rock My World. What a great song. Just the whole, it's a 10-song album, bluesy hard rock metal. Came out in 2010. You might have missed it. If you kind of wished there's a little more that ZZ Top inspired, you can grab something like this. And there's some other bands too we'll mention in another video in the future. But there you have it. 10 CDs you might have missed that came out in the last 10 years, 2010s. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If you bought the albums, I hope you enjoyed them. Check them out. You can find them, whether it's eBay, whether it's Amazon, of course, Boone's Overstock, of course, Girder Records, and of course, Rocks Records with Christian Metal Distro. And, if you're overseas in Australia, there's always Soundmass as well. We never want to forget those guys. They do a lot of great work, and we appreciate all that they do as well. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Like the video, share it, subscribe. Maybe your 10 albums that came out in the last 10 years that maybe you think would be, worthy of an inclusion in something like this. Put them in the comments below. Thanks again. Don't forget to say your prayers, and God bless.
temptations. Don't fool yourself. We meet temptations on and on and on and on again. Keep the fire burning. It's too late by the time you know. You're the puppet in her show. Give yourselves to strike the final blow. Murder in the streets. Ebola virus. Never zombies. All over the world. All over the world. All over the world. All over the world. Oil flowing. Blood is flowing. All through them bones. Now be control. Every day till you're all alone. Through them bones. When I came around, I was on the ground, put myself up on one knee.